never gonna make it. You're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible. It's not probable. You're irresponsible. Too many obstacles. You gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow. You can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move. I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions. They blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen. That shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're driven. There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Or will you fight?
Hello and welcome to Game Day from the UK, another Miami Heat UK live pre-game streaming show. Here tonight to preview Game 2 of the first round of the Eastern Conference against the Atlanta Hawks. Before we come to that, let's introduce the cast. We have got Ollie Rahimi. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thank you, mate. Lovely to be back and in playoff mode. Enjoying it.
Absolutely. I am well and truly pumped in playoff mode. I've just been pumping out Pepas in the bedroom, literally like full blast. And my missus is trying to get my little boy asleep. I don't care. It's playoff mode. Sam Aquara, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I ain't heard the intro tune in a very long time. It's glad to be back.
It's a belter, isn't it? I do love it. Guys, a great start to the playoffs. We will hopefully have Glenn Smith here tonight. We're not sure. It's a game time decision. Supposed to be here, but he's stuck at work. If he comes through, he'll come through and we'll add him in. But guys, what a start to the series. What a introduction to Miami Heat playoff basketball. This is what this team was built in for, and we've got a great show of it first time out. Loads to go through. Let's start, Sam Aquara, with the headline from this game one win. Duncan Robinson's record-breaking 8 triples, 8 for 9 from downtown. What a performance from D-Rob.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that came to my mind was game 1 of the series against the Bucks last year. He hit 7 threes. So in my mind, I knew he was good to go. Like, playoff Duncan is something else. So we might have seen some ups and downs in the regular season, which probably weren't even ups and downs. But playoff time, he's locked in. You see that shot where he just raises his hands in the air. He's feeling it. Like, he's absolutely living for this moment, and it's just amazing to watch him.
And what I love about it is it's like Strus has come in just at the crunch time of the playoff rotation being sort of, laid out. And like when you see a performance like that off the bench from Duncan Robinson, it affirms that this team is just so locked into just whatever is good for the team. And I absolutely love that, Ollie, because he could have really, he's been a starter all year, 90%, 95% of this year he's been starting games. And just as it comes to crunch time, playoff time, he's dropped to the bench. Yet look at the role he's now taking on. I think our bench now is even stronger with D-Rob coming off of it. And he's proved that. And what a showing from him. And he's going to embrace this role, I think, now.
Yeah, I think so too. It's interesting. He said a couple of days ago that this is kind of the first time in his career in Miami that he's not been starting.
Yeah.
If you think about it, when he came in, even as an undrafted rookie, he was getting like good reps, and then he pretty much solidified himself as that starting shooting guard straight away. Yeah, and ever since he has been in that role. But yeah, like you said, his inclusion in the bench now is just ridiculous. I think it works perfectly for playoff basketball. I've said in the past, and I know that a lot of people, and it is the case, playoff basketball is a lot slower. There's a lot more half-court sets. It's a lot more isolation. And, when your starting lineup includes people like Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, even Bam Adebayo as well, who are very, very good in isolation, slowing the game down, that's where they can thrive. So you almost don't need someone like Duncan in that starting 5. And I think Max Strus's slightly more all-roundedness suits that 5 better in the playoffs. And then if you've got a bench unit that compromises of the 6th man of the year, which hopefully will be announced as unanimous this evening, and then Duncan Robinson as well, that's just electric. And you saw it in the first game. They just completely blew the Hawks out of the water. 8 for 9. He was brilliant. If you're looking at eye test or if you're looking at advanced metrics, he had a brilliant game. There's no doubt about it. And I'm looking forward to game 2. Like, long may this continue. It's Pepas blaring, Heat are winning, 15 to go.
Yes, man. Yes. And talking about advanced metrics, and one thing that I don't normally pay too much attention to because I think it can be skewed, but was really relevant for this particular game, is Bam Adebayo's had a fantastic performance. Yet you look at his box score, I think 6 points, 1 from 5 shooting. It makes this win even more impressive, Sam, when you look at the fact that we scored 115 points. And I think between Bam and Tyler Hero, I think it consisted of 12 of those. But yet, Bam, as I said, 1 for 5 shooting, 6 points, yet a team leading plus 27 on the plus minus just shows you what a ridiculously good defender this guy is.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it. And at some point in the game, I must have tweeted that it's facts. Bam has got to be the defensive player of the year because he shot down players on multiple possessions. He switched in the right plays, and not just his defense. To me, he had a good offensive game. He's seen that this is the type of game that other people need to like carry. Like Duncan Robinson's hot, let him keep going. Kyle Lowry was in seam, let him keep going. But like the specific moments that he had the ball in his hands, where they're playing the offense through him, it was really good. The dribble handoffs, and I loved his game on offense and on defense. But his defense was spectacular. I mean, shutting down what's his name, Trae Young when necessary. I loved it, and I'm just looking forward to what today holds.
Yeah, we'll come on to Trae Young in a minute. Obviously, that's quite a hot topic, but you're right. I mean, I was really watching how we were switching on him, and whatever we did on him, it worked. I mean, we've been talking about how good a defensive team this is, and yet that was the most evident step up of what this team is when we now go upper level into playoff basketball mode. PJ Tucker, Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. Ollie, I mean, we call it the kennel for a reason, but PJ Tucker especially, not just defensively, but also offensively. From three, that shot was back. That was the best performance I've seen PJ Tucker play this season. And it's just a hint of what's to come, isn't it?
100%. Yeah. This team was built for playoffs. Like, I think anyone in the Miami Heat organization probably wouldn't have suspected that they'd be as good as they were in the regular season. I don't necessarily think that team was built for the regular season,
Facts.
but they were brilliant throughout. This team is constructed around one goal, and that goal is to win a championship. And like I said, they are engineered to do that. They acquired 3 champions back in last summer with Markieff Morris, PJ Tucker, Kyle Lowry. Incidentally, those 3 have won the last 3 championships as well. Surrounding that with your franchise pieces, i.e., Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, this playoff rotation, this roster that they've put together that Pat Riley has assembled is like I said, just with one goal in mind, with one sole purpose to win a championship. And okay, yeah, Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker might be getting on a bit. They're at the end of their careers now, 35, 36 years old, both of them. But they just go up a level. We've seen that with Kyle Lowry over the last couple of weeks of the regular season, that he started to ramp up and his offense started to sort of get into a bit of a rhythm that we hadn't really seen for the most of the season. And now you're seeing the best of him. And like you said with PJ Tucker, that was just a timeless performance from him. He led the Heat in scoring for most of that game until Duncan started hitting the threes later on. So yeah, I think the value of those two in particular is undeniable. And as I said, it's built for playoff success, and this team's going to go deep. I think we've been waxing lyrical about them all year. But yeah, I'm just excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, and what I loved about it as well is like Tucker with his performances. Obviously, there was some rumours about maybe he might miss this game. He'd missed the last couple of regular season games. It was like little niggly injury. But he said he came out and called this before. He said, "This is why I came here, for this moment." You know, playoff basketball, yeah, you're right, Ollie. We probably wasn't in a lot of people's mind, maybe not, you know, even in our own minds, maybe not predicted to be as good regular season as we have been. But it was all about this moment. And PJ Tucker said that. He went, "This is why I came here." And it was a ridiculously good performance defensively, but also offensively. I think, yeah, 4 threes, I think he got. Great to see that shot dropping again. You know, I don't know why I put a tweet out which I thought was really underrated, which was Free J Tucker. And he got about 6 likes. I was like, this is like the best thing I've ever said. Where's the love for that? But yeah, PJ loved that performance. And he was one of many, as we say. Let's come on quickly to Trae Young, because that was a big story. You know, like you would expect, he's probably the most dangerous player on the court offensively, no question. He is a budding superstar, but it just shows you, doesn't it, that if you do a job on him, you take away really everything that the Hawks have got. And he struggled from the first minute, that very first possession. I think it went down. I think there was a shot clock violation in the end because we switched on him. Wherever we switched on him, we did a job on him. And Sam, that's a masterclass of a performance from Trey. So much so that you get to lock him down so he doesn't even play a fourth quarter minute. Just shows you that there was just no luck there last time out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just goes to show why the Heat is such a good defensive team. It's not just the defensive assets we've got in like the sort of physicality and sort of the wingspans that we've got, the height, the strength, not just the sort of defensive capabilities and like the mindset, the defensive sort of schemes that we play in, but the coaching as well. And you could tell that as whatever the game plan was worked. Like you don't need a billboard to tell you that the game plan worked to lock Trae Young out. And I'm actually quite interested to see how tonight's going to be played, because I don't expect Trae Young to come out the same way he did yesterday, and I expect Spo to not expect Trae to come out the same way he did in game one. So I just love to see what's going to happen later today.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because the Heat, as I said, they couldn't have done that better. Everybody done their job on him. Doesn't matter who he switched on to, he had no luck. I think Kyle Lowry was guarding him for the vast majority. I think more than any other player, and I don't think he scored a point when Kyle was guarding him, and that's exceptional as well. So brilliant performance from him. But also, Ollie, I want to shout out the role players as well off the bench, because we've spoken about
Gabe Vincent.
Tyler didn't have a great night, but it didn't matter in the end. But Dwayne Dedmon, Gabe Vincent, just talk about impact. These are your 8th and 9th men. Talk about impact. Wow.
Yeah, wow, exactly that. Just quickly, I want to say on Trae Young, I think, Sam, you're right. He doesn't have 2 bad games back to back, so I can expect a reaction from him tonight. Sure. But also Sunday, that was the worst shooting night of his entire career. We held him to that in the first game of the playoffs. So all this tired rubbish. No, they're not tired. Come on. Role players. The Heat, we have the best scouting and development department in the league, unquestionably. I saw a stat the other day. I can't remember it now word for word, but no team in NBA history has had as many undrafted players as Miami do and has been as successful as we have been in this season. That's a testament to the scouting. That's a testament to the development that the coaches put in behind the scenes that we don't see. But we see the rewards of it. And Gabe Vincent, like you both mentioned, is the product of that. He is the example of this development process. And he was fantastic. I think we all probably would have assumed at the start of the season that Gabe Vincent wouldn't be in the playoff rotation. Even in that period in December when we were without most of our stars and players like Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin and Max Strus, they were all stepping up. Even at that point, we probably thought, well, Gabe's probably not going to be in the rotation when playoffs come. But to his credit, he has worked himself into it and he's been phenomenal. And he was so good in that game one. Like it just didn't seem like playoffs to him. This is someone that's barely got any playoff experience. He had some minutes in the series against the Bucks last year, but that's 4 games. We got swept. That was it. It was done. So for him to come in and contribute in the way that he did was remarkable. And same for Dwayne Dedmon, like that energy that we've had all season from him, it waned a little bit towards the end of the season, but now it's dialing back up again when it really matters. So yeah, it's great. The depth that we have on this team, no one comes close to it. And, we have people that if someone's having an off night, there will be someone else right behind them to step up in their place. So yeah, Tyler didn't have a great night. Bam didn't do a lot offensively, but it doesn't matter when you've got people like Gabe and Duncan and other people to step in and fulfill that role, because, Tyler could go for 30 tonight and Duncan might only hit 1 3. We have that flexibility and we have that continuity and fluidity that I think allows us to be so dangerous and to really limit what the opposition defenses can do against us.
Yeah, I think that look, we've waxed lyrical about Gabe all season, and rightly so. When you look at, I know they did play the garbage minutes in the end when the game was won, but this game was really done without Caleb Martin, who's been exceptional. We saw no Victor Oladipo, which we know the reasons why, that he's probably shut down for the season now. But for Gabe Vincent to come in and do such a productive job, I mean, he's a starting point guard on more than half of these teams in the NBA, and this was somebody that was just not, it was just almost cast aside this time last year. So. Absolutely love to see it. I thought he was exceptional and a big part of this win, because it all the way went down the bench and he played a productive role to it. Sam, let's just come on something that you both quickly touched on there about rest and all the rest of it, and tired legs. Now, they've played, playoff. They played 2 playoff games, both quite high intensity, and they seem to be using this as an excuse already. And the reason why this game was a no contest, the fact that Heat have had a whole week's rest, it's not legitimate, is it? Because you was an Eastern Conference finalist last year. You've had a crap season. You were supposed to be better than this. You're not. So you wear it, you pull your trousers up, and you can't now use this as an excuse. Okay, be better than a 9 seed if you're going to moan about it. It's as simple as that, isn't it? They shouldn't even be in this. They shouldn't even be in it, really. They've had to go in it through the play-in. So be thankful you're here and get on with the job.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I seen the perfect response to that. It came from Giancarlo Navas. I don't know if any of you guys saw it. It was in response to some Philadelphia columnist person who was ranting on about how they haven't got much rest. But in contrast to last season, when we had the shortest off season in NBA history, everyone called us bubble boys and flukes and whatnot. So it's quite interesting how rest is all of a sudden more important. But I'll leave that to them to judge. But what I did notice is I don't know if any of you have seen it, but the injury list, we've got quite a few people on the doubtfuls. So I don't know if that rest did us any good or harm.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot on the questionable. I think it's all mind games, really.
Yeah,
I'll be very surprised if any of them are out. They're not going to want to. They're going to want to build on this, get this wrapped up quickly, and they're not going to let little niggles. But I think that's mainly just mind games to put a whole lot of players on the questionable list. I don't think they're fooling anybody though. Ollie, what do you think tonight then? Because as you've already said, Trae Young doesn't have 2 bad games in a row. Heat will just want to roll it out again. They'll be going just as hard. It's not going to be easy as just, Trae will come back better. I'm sure it'll be more productive than 8 points. But what adjustments really do they have to make? Because, this goes 2-0. I think the Heat will then look at it and go, they're not beating us 3 out of 4 times remaining. They're going to need this really if they want to keep this alive.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, like we said, I don't think Trae's going to have another bad game tonight. He is their star player ultimately, and he will step up. But yeah, like you guys both said, they were in the top 2 last year, effectively, in the East, because they got to the Eastern Conference Finals. So they've got more about them than I think what we saw on Sunday. Maybe their schedule over the last week in the playing games did have a factor, and they can use it as an excuse, or that you want. Whether it's valid or not is up for discussion. I personally don't think it is, but yeah, it probably does have an impact because they were 2 very emotional, high intensity games as well. So I think we'll see a reaction from them. I still back the Heat. I just don't think it will be as much of a blowout as it was in the first game. But aside from Trae Young, we did a brilliant job on Bogdanovic as well, because he is another one of their ultimate, their perimeter threats, and someone who's really, really efficient at scoring from 3, scoring in general. And we shut him down as well. So aside from Gallinari, they kind of didn't really get going at all. So yeah, I'd expect to see a reaction from them. They're better than that. They're better than the 9th seed, really. So yeah, a reaction will come, but I think, as I've said, we've got more than enough about us to deal with it, to handle it and take care of business and go to Atlanta with a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and obviously they've tried to throw John Collins back into a high intensity playoff mode after being out for about 6 weeks plus. It's great to see John Collins back. I was actually pleased when he's back, because you want to see the best players play against you. You want to see the best players full stop in the playoffs. So hopefully he'll come back and look sharp so we can make a series of this. But obviously we want to get this wrapped up as quick as possible. One last thing before I get on to predictions, Sam. Nothing sort of fires up, Twitter rivalries, if you like, than playoff basketball. And, there's been a lot said, especially from Bally Sports Hawks about Kyle Lowry and his plays on Trae Young. Now, there was one that we sort of caught him a little bit off of a rebound. But this one that you probably saw it where he dove at the legs when it was a loose ball. And they're sort of crying about it because they're saying, it could have been a serious injury. You want that from your guy, don't you? It's a loose ball, you dive for it. We're in playoff mode, as we said. What's all this about? What's this beef coming from? Why are they getting so salty so quickly?
I mean, you can't blame them. They don't understand the culture. They don't understand the intensity that we play with. It's completely foreign to them. So that's why they're overreacting.
Love it. Short and sweet. Yeah, that's great. Look, it's only going to keep getting worse. This is what happens. I mean, as soon as there's a matchup, both fan bases go at each other. It's going to keep intensifying it. We'll see where it goes. Really looking forward to tonight's game, guys. Let's get some predictions. It's going to be closer, I'm sure. It's going to be more competitive, I'm sure. But what do you think tonight, Ollie?
Yeah, I agree. As I just said, I think it will be closer. I think the Heat will win again, but I don't think it will be as much of a blowout. And I don't think all the stars are going to have a fourth quarter to rest. So, yeah, I think it'll be Heat again, maybe a little bit closer, sort of 7 or 8, I think. But another win, 2-0, Pepas in the fourth. Let's go.
Let's go. Exactly. Sam, what are your thoughts, mate?
I think it's going to be another win, but it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be back and forth. Heat will win convincingly. I say Heat by 9, but there'll be a lot of scheming in this game in terms of the coach's input. You get to see a lot of what each coach is prepared for this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we will see a reaction, and I think they'll probably come out fast. I can see us lead. I can see us behind by half time, but I think inevitably again, the legs will have something to do with it. Lots of basketball. This will now be their third game, I think, in 5 nights. Heat again rested. I think we will get the job done. Of course, we will get the job done. But I think, by half a dozen, 5 or 6, I'm going to go for a Heat win. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a good one. Let's hope we get the job done. We don't really want to be going there with 1-on-1. They'll be lifted by that. Let's hope we get our job done first, and then we'll take it from there. Because there's no way, if we go in 2-0, we're letting 3 of the next 4 slip. So let's get a job done early doors. It's a 12:30 tip tonight. All the early stuff is done now. That's us done for the season. Everything from now on, I'm sure, will be late tips, but we'll be there, of course. Follow us at the Miami Heat UK for reaction and live in-game comms, etc. As always, follow us and subscribe Miami Heat UK TV. We will be back. Actually, we won't be back to preview the game on Friday because if you've been following our Twitter, we are back with our 3rd annual Drunken Reverse Top 50 Draft. We are doing that live on Friday night. That is at 7:30 with 5 NBA UK accounts. So obviously it's me from Heat UK. We've got Suns UK, Nets UK, Pacers UK, and Rich Barrett from NBA UK fans to put together our Drunken Top Reverse Draft Top 50. That'll be a lot of fun. 7:30 on Miami Heat UK TV. Follow us for that. We'll be done just in time for the game because that'll be about midnight start. So we'll be back the game after that with Game Day from the UK. Until then, guys, let's hope we'll be celebrating a 2-0 lead. Let's go Heat. Let's get it done.